We are joined by the Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Mrs. Abimbola Akiajo. Thank you indeed for making our time to stop by our studios. The wait is almost over, MD. I mean, the February 29th date, is that still a possibility?
It is. It's cast in stone. Mr. President is coming and we're ready.
All right. Let's talk about other issues. For instance, Mr. Governor's visit to China recently, we understand it will, you were all there to ensure a few finishing touches as you finalize some other infrastructure projects in the country. But some critics are a bit skeptical. They're wondering if perhaps the bilateral tie, perhaps with China, would translate perfectly to the peculiar needs of Lagos, for instance. Speak to that.
Okay, so at the end of the day, we as a people know exactly what we require and we know what we need. In relationship, there must be dialogue, and those conversations happen from the very top to the very bottom. So even when we went to China, there were technical conversations as to what our requirements would be and how it would fit into our own demography, into the needs of our people, and all of that was taken into cognizance. That experiment has been proven very well on the Blue Line. The Blue Line is working today, and we are carrying passengers, and everything is functioning as it ought to be. And that was a relationship that birthed not just the infrastructure, but the rolling stock and the operational service that is ongoing.
And for those who do not understand, what exactly is the difference between the Blue Line and the Red Line?
Okay, excellent question. So the Blue Line today is operating and it's being powered by electricity. So it has its own electric supply. We use the grid and all of that. So we have a third rail system. So there is another rail apart from the tracks that goes along the side of the rail that will power the rolling stock. It is very different to the Red Line. The Red Line will be diesel powered. So we will have what we call diesel multiple units. That will be the trains. The train itself will be powered by diesel. And that is the major difference in terms of it is about how the trains are powered. So the Red Line is diesel powered, the Blue Line is electric powered.
And speak to us about the routes. I know that I was there for the flag off of the Blue Line, the test driving rather, sometime around May in 2023. But I remember doing this test drive with you guys from Marina, I think, to Mile 2 and correct. Back to Marina. It was a very fantastic experience. But let's talk about the routes, the Red Line. Where are we looking at? Somewhere around Agbado to...
Okay. So the whole line is from Agbado to Marina. That's the design that we have at the moment. But like every rail system, we will build it in phases. And we have built the first phase of the Red Line. And that first phase will be from Agbado all the way to Oyingbo. So we have 8 stations that will be working from Agbado to Oyingbo. That will be Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and Oyingbo. So that's what the first phase will entail, starting from, and we will be sharing tracks with NRC, and that's what we've always said, that we will be sharing tracks with NRC up until Ebute Metta. From Ebute Metta all the way to Oyingbo will be new tracks that we've built. But as part of the works that we've done, we've built all those 8 stations. We have built sidings that will allow us to come in and out of the main track system.
Well, I was going to ask if you could quickly perhaps mention the second phase and when to be completed so that Nigerians can perhaps hold the Lagos state government accountable when that time comes. Okay,
so we have 2 options. And those 2 options are one of the things that the state government is looking at. The first option is to go from Oyingbo to National Theatre. That will be a very quick win. And it's one thing that the state is seriously looking at, the ability to connect. And what that does is afford us connectivity. If he goes from Oyingbo to National Theatre, that means that you will be connected with the Blue Line, which will then take you onto Marina, which is the ultimate goal of the Red Line. So that's a quick win, and that's one that can be done in, 2 years. If we start it, then it can be completed in 2.5 years maximum. The second option is that we actually take a bridge from Oyingbo and we go all the way to Marina on a separate infrastructure. Now, that will be hugely expensive, but both of them have their pros and their cons. But the most important thing is to ensure that we provide connectivity. So the second option provides the connectivity at Marina. The first option, which is one, in all fairness, that the state is looking at keenly because of how quickly we can do it and how less expensive it will be than going all the way to Marina. And that would connect you with the Blue Line at National Theatre.
All right, so I understand we are absolutely pressed for time, but perhaps you can squeeze in this answer maybe in 20 seconds, because when you look at the population in Lagos, there's a massive and explosive population here. Some say we're about 22 million, some say 25 million.
Pick a number.
But, I mean, when you look at the reason why, I mean, LAMATA was established before the early 2000s and all, do you think what we are doing right now, the establishment of the rails, do you think is the rail system matching with the demands and explosive population of Lagos?
Well, I think the demand is something that LAMATA continuously surveys. And we have done, passenger surveys, both for the blue and for the red. And I believe, we in LAMATA believe strongly that what we're doing is exactly along the right path.
All right. It's a fine place to anchor a conversation with you, Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Mrs. Abimbola Kiajo. Thank you indeed for speaking with us, and all the best to you and your team and what you're doing.
Thank you very much.